What's up? This is Sequel Gus. This is the SOV. Thank you guys so much. The cane video did really, really well on the last one. Check it out if you hadn't had a chance to check it out. But today we're going to be talking about the baton. Some of you guys have written in talking about baton fighting and how we do it as village fighters. You guys also have written in to Master Ron and myself on King Kong Palm. Haven't watched King Kong Palm, we do a whole thing on weapons, and the baton is one of them. This would be considered the short family of Kung Fu weapons, and I like it. It's a pretty practical weapon. It's a pretty efficient weapon. We're going to talk about a couple things here. One of the things we're going to talk about is how to hold it, right? There's a lot of ways to do baton fighting. We at the village and in our realm of training, we do it a little bit different than everybody else, but still some of the same. You're going to be hitting a person, right? So first thing we're going to do is we hold the baton a little bit hanging out. Most styles have that. Reason being is because it's easier for us to roll into force when we do it, like you're squeezing a fist, like you're making a fist, right? And the other one is you actually have a second target or a second weapon, right? So for other targets. So if Luis comes in and he throws me a right, I may come in here, boom, and hit him that way, and then continue following through. So you guys can see this, right? So it's important to understand when you're utilizing a baton is using it and how to get it from one side to the other, right? Attacks happen fast. It may be a stick on the ground that you're going to defend yourself with. You may be holding a baton. For some reason, who knows why, but it's a fun weapon to use. We like to use them here at the village. It's one of the first weapons you learn when you come to the village and train. So we're going to move on to the next part of what to do with the baton. Okay, so now we're going to talk about different types of striking, right? Pretty simple, something easy to think about. One is poking, but the only thing about poking is you need to make sure that you have a larger target. I wouldn't obviously try to poke at the arm. Even if it's possible, you have to be really good at it, right? The other one is power striking, like we talked about in the cane video. And a lot of the motions are related, right? So if I'm going to do a power strike here, or a quick percussive strike. So like if he grabs my wrist and I go, whap, I hit it that way, just right from the wrist, right? Power striking I like to do as well, because generally we go from a percussive strike to a concussive strike. So a percussive strike may be hit him this way real fast to come around and drive him into that strike right there. And that's really important. So those are basically what you're going to do. And I'm going to give you some methods and some ideas on how to use them efficiently, effectively for both punching, kicking, and grabbing, okay? Okay, so now we're going to talk about different concepts, right? So people have drills, and there's tons of drills online that you can do with the baton. We're talking about once you're past the drills and you have a hand-to-hand, you have a person coming at you in an attack, and what to do with your baton. So that's kind of where we are with what we're training. All that other stuff is good. It's good drill work. It teaches you timing, distance. It helps you become more flexible in your actions. This is what's happening once it takes place, right? So the difference, one of the things that we do is we add our body to the action. So it's not about just hitting someone with the baton or poking them with the baton. It's learning how to move. So let's say if the SOB throws me a right, I may come in here, and there's my first strike right there, right? Or I may move off angle and then hit him, right? And if you notice what I did there is I hit him, back of the leg, I brought his hand here to wind him up for a power strike, right? And so the objective is you can play with all these different concepts, right? Let's say if he sees a baton, he reaches for it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push his hand, and there he is right there. Now I have the option of going into the eye and then into the head, right? Or if he goes to grab, and I hit him, right? So all these are fun little concepts. We also use the baton as distraction, right? So I'll give you an example. So let's say if he sees the baton, but he throws a punch anyway, and I go one, he's focused on the baton, so I'm hitting him here. I'm putting the baton in this hand, and I'm hitting him there, right? So So these are all concepts that I'm using with no baton, right? So we're talking weapon, non-weapon. I can use the baton as part of my body. So if he goes to throw the punch, I go, one, use my lower body, come in. He's focused on the baton, boom, there's my strike there, right? So it's more like this, right? It's one, bang, I'm gonna run into that. Because he's focused on the weapon, not on the weapon. You got that? See how I did that? So it's important to understand that concept, right? And let's say if he throws a kick. Let's say he throws a kick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive this right into the bone, right? I'm going to drive it right into the bone. So when he throws, I'm going to go, yeah, and then I'm going to hit, boom. And then he's always running into something. So when we train, when you watch us here on this channel, and when you watch us on King Kong Palm, myself and Master Ron, we're always running people into something, because the reason being they may be faster, they may be stronger. I don't know that data when I'm being attacked, right? Because we're not talking about defending yourself. We're talking about when you're being attacked, how to deal with this, right? I want this to become a true weapon, not just a stick to hit someone with, right? So in order to do that, you need to learn how to mix it with yourself at the same time, right? Let's say if he's a much bigger person and he's trying to go for the baton, just trying to grab it with his right hand, right? Now I'm there. Now I'm in position to attack again, right? If he tries, if I put it out there, I may put it out there once again as a decoy, right? As a baiting action. And now I'm in there, and there's my elbow to my strike, right? He may also reach for it. Give me that. Boom. There's my strike right there, okay? So these are just simple, fun little drills when you're playing. I like to think them as practical, more so than learning how to do a routine. Because a routine, if he grabs onto this, Luis, if he grabs, I don't know, a routine won't tell me what to do there. Like, or if he comes and reaches for it and I have to hold him back, a routine won't teach me what I'm going to feel like to be able to access my tools. And one of the things we're trying to get with the community in King Kong Palm and here on this channel is to understand, I get it. I don't want to start swinging blind because he may be prepared for that, right? I want to be able to catch him by the element of surprise. And so these things are really, really important when you're playing with batons and weapons in general, which we got to have so many more weapons that come down the pipeline for you guys. And even on King Kong Palm, check out King Kong Palm, because we did a whole thing with sword and long pole and baton and fan and all kind of stuff. Or go to kingkongpalm.com if you want to check that out. But when you're talking about the baton, you want to keep it really simple, right? If his hands are there, right, I may go and do a looping motion and strike low to the shin and then hit him there, right? So I may go here, right? I may hit him in the shin, boom, and then pop him there. That I may do something that's like that. But whatever I'm doing is going to be based. Now, if I want to, if he's let's say, some people talk about punching, right? Some people's like, well, I noticed that sometimes you guys punch. So let's talk about the issue I have with punching. If I go to hit him and he grabs on, now my brain goes directly to the weapon, right? So my suggestion is maybe have him in a position where he has a harder time. So let's say if he throws it right and I catch him, boom, and I pull it right back out and I can get him there. It's just easier for me to do that, punch him in and out. Or if I go here, right, I kick him, turn him, punch him, then I go back into my baton striking. But I wouldn't stay with the fist punching, even though it's a really good idea. Because if he grabs onto it one way or another, now you're going to be grappling with this person trying to take the baton out of your hand, right? Now, let's say, once again, like we did this concept on the king, what happens if you go to hit and he grabs it? Let's just assume, right? Everything is weapon, non-weapon. So this is just an extension of your arm. So what you're going to do is, let it go. So as soon as he grabs, you know he grabs it, right? So when he grabs, well, boom, you hit, and then you just keep using it as if you're using your body as a weapon. So these are fun concepts to play with. My suggestion is start slow, start really slow, right? And start with punches. Start with punches. See different angles. He throws, there's a knee right there, there's the throw, strike to the head. That's a really simple technique, right? Then you can have them throw a little bit faster and you go, bam, right? You just go right into it. Be careful with your partner. You have to have control. Everyone thinks they have control until you hit your partner in the face with a baton. But when you're training, just be very, very careful. Very, very careful, because you don't want to injure your workout partner. As you know, in this kind of training, your workout partner has such value. So, and we talk about it on this channel, we talk about it on King Kong Palm. It's really important for you guys to understand that concept. 2, 3. Okay, so when you're working training with a baton, a couple things. You know, some people will put their hands and do things like that. And those things are awesome. Those are really, really cool things. My thing is, I like working with another human being, right? I like saying, okay, grab the baton, right? I like to use my body. Okay, grab the baton. I like to use my body, use it as part of, as if they're trying to grab my arm or something like that. The other thing is, if you're moving, you can also use a blocking action, right? And there's striking. There's some people do leverages with them. We're just keeping it simple, really simple, simple, simple. The information I want to give you here is something that you can use right after you do this, or after a few practices, right? So all of a sudden, let's say if the SOB throws me a left, right? I'm right there, and I'm right into my position to strike, right? Let's say if he goes here and he throws, and I step here and I drive in to his rib cage to strike, right? So those are great things if you're going to hold the baton like this, right? And if he goes to throw a kick, I wouldn't suggest going here, because some people have really strong kicks. So I would always do an angle, redirect that energy, if you will. So he throws a kick, right, and I just redirect. And the way we look at everything is timing, distance, rhythm, and flow. So if he throws a kick, what I'm looking at is how long it takes his foot to hit the ground, and I'm going to attack him while his foot is in the air. That's my goal, right? So when he throws, right, boom, that's what I want to do. I want to catch him before he gets into that action, and my body is always in position to keep moving, right? And those things are really important, okay? All right, so that's all we have for the baton. We have other weapons coming up. Go check out kingkongpalm.com. Like, subscribe, share with friends. If you have someone who does a different style of baton fighting, have them, check it out and let me know what they think. There's so many great ways to use the baton. We just want to give you a few. Remember, the key is understanding the more you use your body, the more efficient and effective this will be. You may not get the chance always just to hit someone, or if this is the bigger threat, right, then he may just address the threat, right, coming in, different things like that. It's harder to shield when they can't figure, is the baton a threat, the leg the threat, the hand the threat, the fingers the threat. They can't figure out which one to protect themselves against. So it's always good when you have to use this out there. All right, we'll see you guys next time.